Yo, it's me, it's the SCOTT, baby. Welcome back to the Angel Retrospective. We're on season 4. Before I start, I want to apologize ahead of time. I'm recording this almost 2 o'clock in the morning, so if I start yawning, that's why. Matter of fact, get it out of the way. So, remember when I said that I thought season 2 was the worst season of the show? Well, I was wrong. Season 4 is a little bit worse. To be honest, I think that it has a better build-up than it does an execution of a villain. The main villain of the season is a bit of a letdown when you think about it. And Connor, Angel's son, who is now a regular in this season, is the worst character on the show. And unfortunately, this entire season is basically based around him, which kind of drags the season down. Like I said, the build up to the villain is good, but then once you get to the reveal of the villain, it's kind of like, So we start off, pick up where we left off. Where did we leave off? Cordy was taken up to be a higher power in the heavens, and Wesley was no longer part of the team. He was excommunicado after betraying Angel. Angel was in a wooden box down in the ocean, thanks to Connor. Well, right away we have Wesley, with the help of Justine, and as he forces her to help, he finds Angel and brings him up, and he sort of restores him, and Angel kicks Connor out of the hotel, because he's been kind of fighting vamps with Fred and Gunn, who are, a couple at this point, until a certain point. And Lauren went to Vegas to do a show in Vegas, which we'll get to. And of course, Cordy. But apparently Cordy's been watching from up there. It was revealed in one of the episodes. But yeah, and he kicks Connor out, and this is the start of what I think is a sort of, like, Angel pushes Connor away, and that kind of, I don't know, it just, he kicks him out because of what he did. But remember, he was raised by a guy who hates Angel. So he's going to have some hate towards Angel as well. And he was tricked, which I don't ever bring up again, by the way. He was tricked into believing that Angel killed his father, killed Holtz. Never brought up again. And Justine disappears after the first couple episodes. But in the episode The House Always Wins is a Lauren-centric episode where the guys go to see, the team goes to see Lauren's show in Vegas, and he doesn't acknowledge them, which leads them to believe something's going on, and it is. And it's that the people in Vegas are using Lauren's gifts to read the futures of people in the audience, and then put them in a special game that, if they lose, which they always do, they lose their future. They rescue Lauren and they save, that thing. And then Cordelia returns at the end of that episode. And from this point, she doesn't have any memories of who she is, and that pushes her into the arms of Connor, because, I don't know, it just does. But that's only for a couple episodes. In the episode Super Symmetry, we find out how Fred got to Pylea. It was her professor, her college professor, that sent her there. Because of theories or something. I'm not sure exactly why, but Gunn is the one who takes care of him, sending him through a death portal or killing him or something, and that strains their relationship. The episode Spin the Bottle is one that's a landmark episode. In one of the episodes, I think it's flashing towards Bethlehem, Lauren reads Cody when she sings, and he senses something big is coming, something bad, something terrible. And then Wolfram and Hart show up. They're distracted because they're out doing something. While they're distracted, Wolfram and Hart shows up, and they take a little chunk of his head or whatever. Wolfram and Hart aren't as big of a... You remember in my review for the third season how I kept going... They're not as big of a bug fly in the ointment. They're not big... that's more Connor's role in this season, to be honest. But there's not really much... Once the Beast comes into play, we'll get to him. So, Spin the Bottle is an episode. It reminds me of like Buffy stylish shenanigans. It's directed by Joss Whedon, and written by Joss Whedon, so that tells you. I think it's the only episode he actually directed this season, but and it pertains to a bottle they set up that's going to return Cordelia's memories, and they bring Wesley in because he because they need 6 to do it, I guess. And during the thing, Cordelia smashes the bottle that they're using, and it causes them to only have memories from when they were like 16 years old, I guess. So Cordelia thinks she's back in like Sunnydale High School and stuff, which I'm guessing her memories are before she met Buffy, because she was supposedly 16 when the actress was 27, but she was 16 when she met Buffy, so this was pre-Buffy memories, because she doesn't know who Angel is. She doesn't know anything about vampires or anything. Gunn does, because that's where he was raised on. Wesley was head boy at the Watchers Academy. Fred, unfortunately, has more changed back into her southern drawl. Don't know how you grew out of that, but yeah, she's back to her southern drawl, and she wants weed for some reason. Lauren is knocked unconscious by the thing behind the desk, the front desk, and Angel thinks he's Liam. And Connor's not there, so it doesn't affect him, but yeah, and the whole thing is around like Wesley thinks this is a Watcher thing, so they look for vampire. The Angel Liam realizes he's a vampire, tries to hide it. There's a funny scene where he goes into the bathroom trying to get a reflection, but there's no reflection because when he's talking to Cordia, they're looking around. He stares at her neck and his like face changes, and he runs to the bathroom to look, and there's no reflection. I don't like how they handled that, because it looks like they just took the mirror out of the cabinet, because what they were showing was tile, and behind him was a door. There's no tile in the door. So I thought it was kind of stupid, but then they show a view from an angle, and the mirror's back. You just don't see his reflection. It's really weird. I like how, they don't give Liam his Irish accent, but the way that Dave Boreanaz speaks as Liam, just the tongue, the words, like the language he puts out, is almost like there is a bit of Irish to him, just how he speaks it in the old tongue and stuff like that. It's kind of different. But in the end of the episode, and this is what really confused me about this episode, is that this whole thing they had to do this big old, this big old schmaz, this big old ritual to bring her memory back. And then when Lauren wakes up, he's tied to the thing, but then he convinces them. And he ends up just taking this powder and putting it on someone's tongue to put their memories back. And I'm sitting there going, why couldn't you do that before? Why do you have to do this big what to do where you can just do that? Seems like. And the way he explains that his first reading since getting ganked, and he happens to get this spell, it had to have been a setup or something. And we'll get to that whole setup thing later in the season. But it's when this happened, when Cody gets memories back, she sees the Beast. And this brings us to the Beast. The Beast is one of the biggest, baddest villains they've ever had. and he tears through Wolfram and Hart too. Like, he goes around and he tears through Wolfram and Hart, and he takes out the little girl. They introduce the White Room early in this season with a little girl played by Kay Panabaker. She's in 2 episodes. The episode they introduced it in, and this episode, Apocalypse Nowish, when he goes in and he just destroys Wolfram and Hart. He kills everyone in there except for Lila. She escapes. But everyone else turns into zombies. And this is kind of the end of Wolfram and Hart's involvement until towards the end. But, like, Lila's around a little bit longer, but then she eventually takes it. I won't say by who yet, because it's a big spoiler. But yeah, and then they're fighting and stuff. And during the big fight, the apocalypse stuff happened. They also introduced a character in the episode Ground State. Her name is Gwen, and she's in 3 episodes this season. I don't say it. I know there's another episode she shows up to help them with something because one of her clients had something taken out of his body, and it turns out the Beast is looking for these 5 things so he blacks out the sun. So it's eternal darkness. Vampires come from all around. Here's the thing, though, that confused me. Is the sun only blacked out in Los Angeles? Because it seems weird that it would only be blacked out in Los Angeles. Wouldn't it be the whole world? It's blacked out for the whole world? But it seems like it's only blacked out in Los Angeles. It's really weird. During this, though, Angel goes to check on Cordy and Connor, and they are doing it. And we'll get that in a minute. Cordy's having a vision about the Beast talking to someone and realizes it's Angelus. Angel has no memories of me talking to the Beast for some reason. Even though he's supposed to remember all the things Angelus has done, he doesn't remember this thing because plot convenience. They need Angelus to come out. So they need to have, even though they've explained in the past that Angel has every single memory of what Angelus did. Every single memory. But now they choose to write in this for plot convenience because they need to have Angelus come out. They have a reason for him to come out. And so we get to an episode that's very confusing. And that's Awakening. Because Wesley locates a shaman who can take the soul out. And he says he's going to do a ritual, but then tries to kill Angel. Angel, of course, takes him out and kills the shaman. But they find out there are words written all over his body. So they use that to find a weapon, which is a sword, which is conveniently located in the sewer. They find it, and they find out the only way, you kill the Beast, you stab him in the head with it. So they do. The Beast is killed. Yay. And then Angel and Cordy have sex. And this is where we're going to get into complications. Angel and Cordy have sex, and Angel... it works. He loses his soul. And it's revealed that this was all in Angel's head. The shaman put it in there so we could, lose his soul. Let's put it in a little container. And Angelus is out. The only problem is this contradicts a big thing within the Buffy mythos. And that was that even in the previous seasons they established that what he had with Buffy was special. That's why it affected him. That's why it didn't work with Darla. He even said before that Buffy's the only one that could get him to find that perfect happiness. So the fact that it just works with someone else, it's Cordelia, yes, but the fact that it works with someone else other than Buffy takes away that specialness. It takes away from that. What they had was special. It takes away everything that they went through, throughout the first few seasons of Buffy and what they went through in the first 2 seasons of this show. It takes away from that because You know, like I mentioned, what they had was special. And when you get to say, oh, he finds someone else, it makes you think, well, what is it, every time he, has an O that he's going to, so like if he gets bored and decides to rub one out, he's rubbing, will it work that way? Because that's the way they're writing it now, is that every time he has sex, it's going to make him do it. They even mention in season 5, when he finds another girlfriend, he's afraid to do anything because he's afraid he's going to, turn into Angelus again. And that's not the point. The point was that he and Buffy couldn't do it, that it was special, and that was a forbidden love. When you say he can't do it with any woman because of it, that takes away that specialness. And that's why that moment that he does it with Cordelia, and he turns it to Angelus, it takes away from that. I know they tried to move away from the Buffy thing, especially since they're on different channels now, but this really kind of pissed me off, now that I think about it. Because when I first watched this, I didn't know the whole rules. Watching it now, it's like, no, that doesn't make any sense. No, it's completely retconning stuff. I don't like it. And yes, Angel is no longer has a soul. He's Angelus again, and his soul goes missing. We found out that the Beast has a master, someone he's working for. Angelus even says that when he last met the Beast, he was an all smash and kill type person. He wasn't big picture type guy, and he's blacking out the moon, blacking out the sun and everything. So he's got to be working for someone, and they find that it's a master, and it's actually Cordelia, or not Cordelia as we learn, but whatever's in Cordelia's body. And yeah, it's just, something I also forgot to mention is that Wesley and Lila were in sort of a relationship. He was playing it off as it was more just sex, but as it goes on, you could tell he actually did care for Lila. And when he finds Angelus gnawing on her neck, that really affects him. But it wasn't Angelus that killed her. It was Cordelia, or whatever it was, inside her that stabbed the master, stabbed her, and then Angelus came along and sucked the blood out. So, because Angelus is powerful, and is also the Beast, Wes goes to get help. He goes to see Faith at the women's prison, and tells her what's going on, and she goes back up. And she breaks through the glass, and beats her way out of, fights her way out of the women's prison. And so now she's sort of part of the team, and she has to fight the Beast. And it kicks her ass, but then Angelus realizes that you have to kill him with his own body parts. So he's like a blade made of his body parts, and just kills him with it, stabs him in the back, literally. And yeah, he's dead. And that's the end. The sky comes back on. The sun comes back out, and everything's back to normal. And then they get back, and they need to bring in bring the soul back. There's a great scene, though, where Wesley brings Faith back to his apartment, and she goes to take a shower, and she beats the holy hell out of his shower and stuff. She's so much that she's gone through in this series. And so then they bring Willow in to locate the soul, and Cordy is effectively trying to stop this from happening. She does this mojo thing also that's supposed to return Angel's soul, but all it is a distraction so she can cloud up Lauren's head so he can't read anything. Even though they've kind of retconned his powers a little bit. Before, he couldn't read anything unless someone was singing. In fact, in just the previous season, he didn't know that Wesley was up to anything until he started singing to the baby. And Now all of a sudden he can just sense it. So then they need to cloud him, I guess. But yeah, just yeah, and so it's effectively, they think he's back to normal, but he's not. It's still Angelus until he gets out. But so they call in Willow, and she locates the. She uses the spell to break the jar, or whatever is holding the soul, so it goes back to Angel, and it does. And Willow leaves, and she takes Faith with her, and that leads into Buffy. And then Cordelia comes down and reveals her pregnancy. Now, the pregnancy angle was done because, in real life, Charisma Carpenter, who plays Cordelia, she was actually pregnant. She gave birth that March. So they had to do something with her. That's why she was barely on screen, otherwise just sitting in the bed and stuff. Even after, even like later towards the end of the season, she was just seen laying around unconsciously. We'll get to that. But yeah, it was really, she didn't have much to do in this season, and she leaves after this anyway. But yeah, so the whole thing now is trying to prevent this baby from being born. They want to know what it is. I don't know what it is. This is a good place to talk about Connor. Connor's the worst character on the show, by far. He's the son of two vampires. They never fucking explain what he is. Ever. Like, ever. They never explain what he is, what he's supposed to be. Is he human? Is he a demon? They don't know. We don't know. I mentioned in previous seasons that Lauren had a spell put on Caritas, his bar, Caritas bar, so that no demon violence could happen. Well, they put the spell on the hotel. Spell on a hotel. And when Angelus breaks in using a fake charm to make it appear as if he can do damage, but he can't, Connor goes to fight him and gets blasted by the spell. And they're like, oh, he must be part demon then. They never really explain what it is. He kind of sulks, well, what am I? But it's never really explained. All Cordelia says is, you're special. So am I. I'm like, so is our baby. I'm like, and he just outright protects her. Like, he finds out she's pregnant and he just agrees to keep it quiet. I'm sorry, but you gotta tell someone. Connor, we'll get into more how Connor is. So, they realize that it's Cordelia and they corner her in a warehouse. And they have her. And out of fucking nowhere, through a glass window comes Connor. And I don't know how the hell he knew they were even there. It's plot convenience. They need... Well, we need someone to save her. I'll just write it, Connor. But how did he get there? It doesn't matter. Just write him in. It doesn't make any sense. I'm sitting there watching it, and I'm like, okay, they have her. I'm like, wait, Connor's going to come through. And I'm like, oh, son of a... Really? And he won't listen. They try to talk to him. He beats the hell out of all of them. And won't listen. I know he's supposed to be a teenager, but here's the thing. He was raised in a fucking hell dimension. If anything, he should be more grown up than any of them. Except maybe Angel. Due to the fact that he grew up in a hell dimension. He should be more mature than any of them. Having to grow up and fight his way through a hell dimension, especially when they say that he said he was tied to a tree by Holtz as a way of training. He should be very grown up because he never had a chance to be a kid. But no, he's this whiny little bastard that won't listen to anything. It's fucking annoying. I hate him. And it gets worse in the next thing. So, they need spill innocent blood, virgin, whatever, to get this blonde virgin girl. And the spirit of his mother, of Darla, comes to talk to him. And she's trying to convince him not to do it. And he almost does. But then Cordy walks in and says, come on, let's do this. And he just does it anyway. And it give birth to... And this is what I'm talking about. All this build-up with the beast, with the knocking out the sun, Angella's coming out, Cordelia hiding the soul, the whole concept of the big master controlling things, and it's a woman. It's a black woman, which will later be named Jasmine, who has the power to make everyone worship her just by looking at her or hearing her voice. That's it. The Messiah. That's it. Nothing big grand, no big demon, no big sorcerer, nothing. Nope, just, no. Baby Connor was a bigger reveal than this. It blows my mind. And watching it this time, I'm just like, all that build up about the apocalypse and the beast and Angelus and all this for a woman. Just not saying that women can't be powerful villains. Lila was a very big demanding villain. She was great. Jasmine, not so much. They named Jasmine because she can't name herself, and she affects everyone except for one person. Can you guess who it is? Here's a hint. I hate him. But, yeah, everyone's affected. Even though it doesn't make sense. Everyone's affected they hear her voice or see her, and they worship her automatically. But here's what doesn't make any sense. They go to a bowling alley. She has them fighting bad guys, whatever, and they fight a bunch of vampires. Vampires aren't affected by this worship curse. And yet, Angel's affected. You can say, oh, he has a soul. Okay. Why is Lauren affected? He's a demon, right? You think that... I know there's a demons that can be affected, that's sure. But why are the other... Because if they were affected, instead of them fighting them, she come in and say, hello, my children, and they'd just obey. But they have to fight them and stake them because they're not affected. There's even some humans that are not affected. And we'll get into that confusion as well. It's kind of... So... So during this trip to the... Cordelia is also in a coma, I should mention that. During this trip to the bowling alley fight, Jasmine gets hit by a bullet or something. She gets stabbed or something. And so Fred offers to wash her shirt for her. And while doing that, she scrubs so much that she actually draws her own blood. And it mixes with Jasmine. And so now she can see what Jasmine really looks like, which is disgusting. Maggot and stuff on her face. Disgusting. And she starts to figure out the truth. She goes around, she's trying to find a way to stop this from happening. But they've caught on to her, so now they're chasing after her. Wes and Gunn are, because Angel can't. But, yeah. And she goes to this bookstore, she finds the magic bullet. And it's called the magic bullet, but there's a bullet, and she figures it out. She shoots Jasmine, and it goes through her, and then into Angel, and that allows him to see the truth. And then they slowly start to get everyone in, and then he's like, I'm not living without my son, so they do it to Connor. The only problem is, Connor could already see her for what she was. He wasn't affected. He didn't care, because it's Connor. Apparently he has no feelings, which makes no sense because he's been whining about Cordy since the very beginning. He even whined about Faith when she showed up. And that pissed off the master Cordy, whatever, because it was drawing him away from her. So he has feelings, but then he explains in the last episode here, I don't have no feelings. Bullshit, kid. Bullshit. You're not about a whiny little bitch. You have feelings. All you do is whine. Jesus Christ. It's revealed that, Jasmine is taking people upstairs for something where there's a big glowy light. It turns out she's eating people. And by the time that they're done, she's eaten thousands of people. So, yeah. Okay, so while in hiding, they end up in a tunnel, the gang, and they meet a group of underground dwellers who have no idea what's going on, and one of them is a child. The child escapes and gets up, so Fred and Gunn go after him, and they find him and bring him back down, and all of a sudden he's under the control of Jasmine. Yeah, no, that doesn't work that way. Because they found him just in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, and all of a sudden you're saying that because he was up there, like they said before, that it's not just her being there. She had that big old press conference so she can be seen around the world. For her to be worshipped around the world. Because it's really just in LA at this point. So him just going up on the surface shouldn't change things. But all of a sudden, you go downstairs and he starts laughing like Jasmine. And then Connor and the others come down and Connor's talking like Jasmine. No! He's not affected. Why is he talking like her? He's unaffected by her. Why is he... It makes no sense. They show that he's unaffected. They show that he can see what she really looks like. He's unaffected. But yet he can still talk to her. It makes no fucking sense. And... So, because... For some reason... I guess it could also go through her voice too, because then they start to control everybody that's down there, so they have to run again. So now, Connor is worried about where Cordelia is, and starts to try to figure out where she is. Jasmine won't tell him, because they use Cordelia's blood, same blood, to change everyone back. So that's that's a no-no, to protect her. But Connor finds her because he's still obsessed with her for some reason. I don't know. And yeah, and Angel goes on a journey to find out Jasmine's true name, because if it's spoken, then she will be, exposed. And so while the others are out there trying to survive, Angel is trying to find a name. He goes to the keeper of the name, and turns out you have to fight this big monster who knows the name and will only say it with his last breath. Then she's getting ready for her press conference, Jasmine is, and he shows up with the head, cuts the mouth open, and says the name. She's exposed. Everyone starts to freak out, and she freaks out. It's actually Connor who kills her, which it should have been Angel, because it's his freaking show. But it's Connor does it, and then he runs off, because it supposedly had no effect on him yet. She can still talk to him. I don't understand it. And then we get, the others go to find Angel, and they open the door, and there's someone there. And, so Angel comes back, and it was Lila. Or a ghost of Lila. Apparently, just like Holland Manners in Season 2, when you work for Wolfram and Hart, your contract extends beyond life. So, she's come with the offer for them to work at Wolfram and Hart. To run Wolfram and Hart. Because they stopped Paradise, I guess, according to her words. And Angel's all, no. They give him a... little amulet jewel that comes in handy for Buffy. I do have an announcement to make as well, by the way. For the Buffy series finale, and we'll get to that eventually down the road. But he refuses everything. This is what is confusing. She shows him that the glass in his office, it's safe. So the sun could come through and he won't get, dusted. And he's surprised by this. But in the very first episode of the show, he kicked the bad guy of that episode, Russell, out of windows just like that. The sun was shining through. The guy was sitting right in it. I don't know if that was they were planning or if that was just a mess up on their hand in the first episode. And it's like, oh, we got to explain that, even though it's 4 seasons later. Yeah, but he should have realized that then. He kicked him out of the window then. But and the sun was out. But yeah, just, I don't know, it's a little nitpick. So, they split everyone up and take them on separate journeys, and Gunn goes up to the White Room, where he meets the new, it's not a little girl now, it's a jaguar, panther, black cat, whatever, big black cat, whatever. And the others are taking different places. And we meet Knox, who will be important in the next season, and we meet a guy who would sort of be important in the next season. Towards Wesley. Wesley knocks him unconscious, and then heads down to the records and finds Light's contract and sets it on fire, and says that she's free, but she's like, look in the filing cabinet. And he looks in there, and it's back in there. I guess she can't just burn a contract. Makes no sense, but yeah. And then she's talking to Angel, and Angel says that he's going to make his own deal. The next thing, because we see that, this is what really gets me, Connor has people hostage in an apartment store, along with Cordy, strapped to bombs, and he's going to blow everyone up. Angel shows up, saves the people, fights off Connor, and looks like he's going to go for a kill. He says, I'm going to give you a life. And he goes like, this white light, everyone's like coming back together at Wolfram and Hart after their tours. And Angel shows up and says, I already took the deal. They're like, really? He's like, yeah. And he's like, it's done? She's like, and Lila's like, yeah, it's done. And she gives him the amulet thing, which she'll give to Buffy. And so he's like, I want to see him. She's like, that's not part of the deal. She's like, I want to see him. She's like, there's a limo outside that'll take you to Connor. And he walks by Fred, and Fred turns around and says, who's Connor? The deal was that he'll take the deal for Wolfram and Hart if he'll run Wolfram and Hart if they put Connor, they erase his memory, they erase everyone else's memory of Connor, and they take Connor and put him in a new home with a new family, as if that's where he lived the entire time. You know, have a regular life. And yeah, and Cordy is safe too. She's in the hospital. She's gonna be in coma. She'll pop up in season 5. But yeah, and it ends with Angel watching Connor have a regular life from the window. And yeah, all in all, this season frustrates me. Connor's the worst character, and he just, I don't know why they wrote him in. They wrote him out, and Cordelia's out, and it's just Lauren becomes our main character towards the end of the season, but he's mostly special guest star, special whatever. I think this may be worse than season 2, because at least we got a good build up to what they were doing with season 2. But here we had a big build up for something big and bad. It turned out to be just a woman that could make you love her by talking to her or looking at her. Not really threatening, although you can't do anything about it unless you get her blood in your blood. But I'm just saying, it's underwhelming, to say the least. But yeah, I don't know. I would probably rate this last if I was rating the seasons. I don't know, but yeah, not really too. There's some funny stuff here and there, but you know, spin the bottle was probably the funniest episode. It's a Joss Whedon episode, so yeah. But nah, nothing to write home about this season. Season 5 is a little bit better. It's different, but it's better. But speaking of which, an announcement. I can't review season 5 without major spoilers for Buffy the Vampire Slayer's finale. So, I'm going to have to stop here with the Angel reviews and start the Buffy reviews. Because I cannot talk about season 5 of Angel without talking about spoilers for season 7 of Buffy. That's just, I can't do that. I mean, I've already mentioned one thing in the season 5 finale that I probably shouldn't have, unless you're a major fan of Buffy and you already know that. And you can say, I already know what happens in the finale. This. Yeah, but don't spoil it for others, But yeah, so I'm going to have to now do Buffy and start that series before I can finish Angel. I didn't think about it. I should have done Buffy first, but I thought maybe Buffy would have spoilers for Angels too. I don't know. I just wanted to do Angel. I'm going to get back on the Angel Retrospective reviews, and now I'm kind of in a pickle because I can't do season 5 without talking about Buffy first. So, yeah, I keep repeating myself, but I'm going to... So it'll be Buffy. I don't know if I'll start tomorrow. I got to do the Flashback Friday review, which will be Vacation. And then I'm going to do some more full moon movies. Because I kind of... It was a last minute thing for me to do Angel today. I was like, okay, what one do I have to do next? Is it Meridian or Doll Man versus Dramatic? Bad Channels? I don't... And I'll just put in Angel. Because when I went to eject the DVD, but, to put in The Fugitive for my review earlier, the Angel disc was still in there. I'm like, oh, maybe I should do that after I'm done. I did. And there's a lot of stuff going on in this season. And I was like, okay. And I got done. And I went to put the disc away. And I'm like, this was only disc 2? There's so much that happened just in 2 discs, I guess. It was like, this is only disc 2. And a lot of stuff happened. And most good build up to bullshit. But yeah, so main thing you can take away is Angel Season 5 on hold. Buffy first, maybe more full moons tomorrow, and Flashback Friday, Vacation, starring Chevy Chase. So, the original one, not the remake, because it wouldn't make sense, because the remake was 2015, or the continued, whatever, 2015, and this one was 1983, so, 84, 83, 84, whatever. So, yeah, so look forward to that. So, well... What are your thoughts on Angel Season 4? Do you hate it as much as I... Do you not like it as much as I don't hate any of this seasons, but do you not like it as much as I do? Let me know in the comments below. I've been Scotty. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.